This is Rummy's Corner. Where, oh where, is Andy Ruiz Jr.? Once upon a time not long ago, Andy Ruiz Jr. shook up the entire heavyweight landscape when he scored a big-time upset to win the Unified Heavyweight Championship against Anthony Joshua. In the rematch, however, Ruiz performed poorly. He came into the rematch heavier and softer, he abandoned the type of tactics that made him effective in their first go-around, and in the end, Ruiz was outboxed and outclassed in an uneventful, lopsided affair. AJ won back the titles he had lost, and that was in December 2019. Since that time, Andy Ruiz has only come out of hiding once every couple of years or so, his last outing coming way back in August 2024, more than a year and a half ago now. That was a fight against Jarrell Big Baby Miller, and it was just the third time Ruiz fought since losing his titles back to AJ more than 6 years ago. Prior to that fight, Ruiz had surgery on his shoulder to repair a torn rotator cuff. And during his fight with Miller, he fractured his right hand, which involved a subsequent hand surgery. The fight with Miller ended in a somewhat controversial 12-round majority draw, where one judge scored the fight 116 to 112 in favor of Miller, overruled by the other two judges who both had it even at 114 apiece. A lot of people believed Miller did enough to deserve the victory. Following the hand surgery after the Miller fight, Ruiz announced he was cleared to resume boxing activities early last year, but to date, he still hasn't had any scheduled fights. The shame of it is, Ruiz showed so much potential in his victory against AJ, and has done almost nothing since then. Just 3 fights in more than 6 years since beating AJ. Less than 2 fights per year since that historic victory. But the potential was real, and Ruiz showcased a lot of great attributes that night. Ruiz was patient, poised, and had an excellent strategy. The main thing that made him successful was that he was mostly looking to stand his ground and counter whenever AJ attacked and got into mid-range. Ruiz was usually waiting to counter whenever Joshua threw, but more importantly, Ruiz was countering with volume and always looking to throw with AJ whenever he did throw. Even when some people believed he let AJ off the hook after that crazy third round, Ruiz remained disciplined and stuck to the plan. He did not overextend or force the issue. He showed very fast hands, really good timing, and great countering instincts where he was especially effective. He exhibited great toughness and recuperative powers, rising from a brutal knockdown, and he showed outstanding power and timing in his own right, dropping AJ twice in round 3 and then twice more in round 7. But even on that terrific night, where his deceptive blend of power, hand speed, and timing were proving to be formidable at an elite level, you still had the feeling that he was only showing flashes of his true potential. It was a tremendous performance by Ruiz, and one that he could have, and perhaps should have been able to grow and build on. Instead, Ruiz did himself a great disservice in his preparation for the Joshua rematch. He did not come in well-trained and prepared, and he abandoned the heart and soul of the game plan that made him effective in their first fight, where he was now leading and taking the initiative far more often, instead of patiently waiting and baiting AJ into exchanges. His heart was clearly not in it for the AJ rematch, and it hasn't really appeared to be in it since. Sure, the victories against Arreola and Ortiz were good, and his performance against Miller was admirable, even though many, if not most, thought Miller deserved the nod. But it still almost feels as if after he scored the upset, he had achieved his childhood dream and had no real aspirations beyond that. Incidentally, a lot of people have asked me why I always show that clip of Andy jumping for joy after he beat AJ. Allow me to clarify. No, it is not because I think Andy looks like Quasimodo. Oof, Madone. No, if anyone over here looks like Quasimodo, it's me. The real reason I started showing that clip was because the week of the fight between AJ and Ruiz, I released a video where I said something to the effect that any fight involving AJ, Fury, or Wilder that wasn't against one of the other three was a waste of time. I did not even bother doing a proper preview video on that one, so sure I was that AJ would win. I may look like Quasimodo, but I lack his amazing predictive prowess. And when I duly reminded everyone after the fight that I don't know shit about boxing, I used that clip of Andy jumping for joy and never stopped using it. Beyond that, in my humble opinion, the raw emotion Andy experienced here, it's like the personification of a big-time upset. Of course, comparisons with Buster Douglas naturally followed, which I thought were harsh and unfair to both Buster Douglas, who was honestly a much better boxer than most give him credit for beyond the biggest upset in boxing history, but I also thought the comparisons were unfair to Ruiz, who had seemingly only just begun his career at the elite level. Ruiz's upset against AJ was never on the level of what Tokyo Douglas achieved, but it was still a big upset, and all these years later, the comparisons with Douglas had far greater merit. As I've noted, I ain't exactly Quasimodo over here, but that's the way the cookie crumbled, that's the way the ball bounced, and that's the way the mop flopped. Right now, I'd still be interested in seeing Andy Ruiz make one more serious go of it, and I'd still love to see him face any of the other big names from his day. A fight between Wilder and Ruiz would still be most intriguing. A fight between Fury and Ruiz would still generate a lot of fan interest, and hell, even a third bout against Joshua would be mighty intriguing. Especially with AJ looking for a tune-up before a would-be showdown against Fury. Any of these fights would be interesting to me as a fan, and if Ruiz could win any of those types of fights, who knows? He could perhaps find himself on a path that even leads him to a title shot against the reigning heavyweight king, Alexander Usyk. Maybe someone like Ruiz could even represent a step up for a younger heavyweight like Moses Itauma, who many view as the possible future of the heavyweight division. Beyond that, a fight between Ruiz and anyone currently ranked in the top 10, or borderline top 10. My main point here is that the heavyweight division would be even more interesting if Ruiz was regularly fighting. With WBO champion Fabio Wardley set to defend his title against Daniel Dubois coming up on May 9th, I cannot help but wonder how Ruiz would figure into the bigger picture had he simply remained more active, notwithstanding the injuries that have slowed him down a bit in recent years. But let's be honest, since the loss in the rematch with AJ, Andy Ruiz Jr. has very much come across as his own worst enemy. Incidentally, for anyone without an active subscription to DAZN, you can use my code RUMMY5 to get 5% off the Wardley Dubois pay-per-view fight. Details in the description. Where, oh where, is Andy Ruiz Jr.? And will he ever again become a major factor in the heavyweight championship landscape? Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy's Corner.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.
Who did what?